Hi Jabir, welcome to getmeexperts.com.
Thank you, Ajay, to bring us on. I appreciate it.
You are expert in innovation and bringing innovation in a general system.
Correct.
But what is innovation? People talk about innovation in different ways. What is innovation?
Innovation is basically, if you really bring it to the base level core, is solving problems. Okay. And if you look at what are the problems, 80% or 85% is contradiction, dilemma, conflict.
Okay.
If you solve a conflict, you've innovated. That conflict can be a technical conflict or contradiction, or it can be a non-technical in a people's issue. There are, two people have got a conflict, how to solve that problem. You solve that, that's innovation. The other thing is, you can have disruptive innovation, which is at a big scale, which is like Uber. But that disruptive innovation is 1% of the innovation. That's not the major, but the major talk is about disruption at the moment, right? You got Uber, Facebook, Google, but that's 1%, right? The other innovations are not disruptive, but they are continuous as well, but they are solving a contradiction, okay? So, bottom line is solving a contradiction. That's it, that's innovation.
That's a very different way of, putting things,
Yes, the reason for that is because systematic innovation has done the analysis of 3 million patents, right? From that knowledge base, we've come out how other people have solved the problems and what those problems were. So it was a contradiction. A contradiction is like, it's not I want either this or that. It's I want this and I want this. I want both the parameters. Okay, so that's a contradiction. How do you solve that? Right, and most of the patents we looked at have solved that contradiction, that the customer wants parameter A and he wants parameter B. That's the issue. Now, if you take Uber has solved the pain points. I want peace of mind, I want immediate taxi, and I want this pain point. I don't want this pain point, and I don't want this pain. I want, as I said, immediate taxi, on-demand taxi, and I want that, right? So these are contradictions. The traditional taxis could not solve that.
Correct, yes.
Uber could solve it because they come out with a new technology, which is the app-based, right? So which is going towards ideality. That's another way of looking at it.
So in a generic way, what are the different tools which can be used for problem solving or innovation, what you call that?
I think the tools that can be used is, as I said, one is ideality, the other is functionality, which is function analysis, third is contradiction, because after analyzing 3 million patents, we've come up with a contradiction matrix, right? That shows that if you got this one contradiction you want to improve and the other one deteriorates, how can I have both of them improving? When you look at the matrix, it'll tell you, okay, what inventive principles other people have used to solve the problem. So in other words, what we are saying is somebody somewhere in the world has solved your problem. If I look at the matrix, a technical matrix, it's a 50 by 50 matrix. So that means in total, any industry, anywhere in the world has got 2,500 technical problems, period.
Oh, okay.
Right, that's it. And you got 40 inventive principles or 40 strategies to solve those 2,500 problems. So in the past, people have solved those problems, right? So that's what I'm saying. Somebody somewhere in the world has solved your problem. You do not have to reinvent the wheel.
Very interesting.
Right.
You said 3 million patents was diagnosed or rather, researched.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. And based on that, you're saying 50 by 50 matrix is the...
That's it. We are still... The initial research started in 1946 by Alshulsha, is a Russian guy. He finished in 1985. And Systematic Innovation is the only company in the world that is carrying on with this patent analysis. We still haven't found the principle number 41.
Okay.
And we have given out we are going to give out a reward if somebody finds principle 41.
Okay.
So Alshulsha from 46 till 1985 almost, let's say, did about 2 million patents. From 85 till now, we've added another million. Still, we haven't found any more new principles.
Okay.
Right, so you can see the strength. And not only that, that's the biggest creativity study ever done on this planet.
Very interesting.
Right.
Very interesting. So, when we talk about innovation, and as you said that, it is few percent which is a disruptive.
Yeah.
How can we use in a simple way, some methods which can solve the problems of our day-to-day work-related, issues?
Okay, in that case, I think first of all you got to understand how do you solve a problem. Basically your traditional method is I've got a problem, then you go straight to the solution. Okay, what we say is that's your traditional method. So we said you don't do that. If you've got a problem, you convert that problem into a generic problem, right? And then you see across the world what are the generic solutions. Then from that generic solution, you modify your answer to your circumstances or context. So it's a loop like this. So that is the problem approach we say. So that means that somebody in the world has already solved it. It's nothing new, okay? Because you're in one industry, you do not know how the other industry has solved the thing. So this matrix tells you the whole industry, how they've solved these issues, right? And I'll give you 2 examples on that. So that's one. Then we got a tool called Problem Explorer. We say, okay, what is the ideal situation? Okay, we say, okay, I want to write an ideal contract. Okay, then we say, first we do the positive. If I write an ideal contract, what will achieve? What will be achieved? And this we did in Qatar. It will achieve less cost. What does that mean? Right? Something else. What does that? Eventually, we link writing an ideal contract to the Vision 2030 strategy of Qatar.
Oh, okay.
Right. So you can see where the link is. So when the employees are there, they can see the contribution they are making straight. Then you say, okay, what's stopping you improving the contract, the ideal contract? X, Y, Z. What is stopping you doing that? What is stopping you doing that? So you come to the root. Then you decide at what level you want to solve the problem. Okay. So an example I'll give you is when I said the method of you've got a problem, you look at a generic problem, then from that generic problem you come to a generic solution and then you modify. So let's take a really simple example. Let's assume I've got a glass of water, okay? And I tell you, Ajay, I want you to remove the water from here, but without touching the glass, okay? Now, that's my problem. Now I turn that problem into a generic problem. I say, I've got fluid. Water is fluid.
Yes.
Gas is fluid.
Yeah.
So I make the problem generic.
Yeah.
Right? I've got fluid in this glass. I want this fluid to be removed. Right? So that becomes your generic problem. Now you look at the generic answers. Okay? One of them is osmosis. One of them is vibration. One of them is ultrasound. One is UV light. One is you put a sponge.
Yeah.
Okay? One is straw. So you see, I'm coming with generic problems, generic solutions.
That's right.
And then from there I say, okay, which of these solutions I can apply to my problem, because there may be limitations. You cannot apply UV light because it's expensive, right?
Yeah.
So that's your limitation.
Right.
So that's how you come around.
Okay. So you make the problem generic, find the generic solution, and then make it specific to your
to you,
problem.
taking the limitations that you have or the limitations that you have. We did an example for ladies' hair clip, right? It was a manufacturing company in Hong Kong, and they wanted to innovate their hair clips. So we used you talked about the tools, we also used the 40 principles for idea generation.
Okay.
So it's very systematic. So we used that, we came up with 56 ideas. In that 56 ideas, a couple of ideas were related to metal clips. But we could not use that because the whole manufacturing process was plastic. So that's your limitation there. Okay? So that's how we do it. And talking about the 40 inventive principle, that is a tool that we also use in brainstorming. And when you do a normal brainstorming, you will see your ideas finish after 20 minutes. So when you bring in a systematic method where you got 40 principles, you say, okay, principle number 1, segmentation. What are the ideas? You generate another 5 ideas. Then you say, okay, principle number 2, asymmetry. Your right brain is getting a trigger to abstract information from your left brain, which is already there.
Yeah.
But you need those triggers.
Okay.
Okay, so we use this innovation principles as triggers to come up with ideas rather than say, okay, let's do a brainstorm.
Thank you very much. It was very interesting to understand that how innovation can be done in a very simple manner, but very scientific manner.
Absolutely.
Very systematic manner.
It is very systematic.
Very systematic manner.
Right. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Yeah.
Okay.